also don't want to be so obsessed about this idea of trying to hold something in that we don't enjoy life. We don't enjoy sex, sexual pleasure. The topic of semen retention is, I don't recommend it as like this, make ejaculation the enemy. Like, okay, it's wrong to ejaculate, I'm never going to ejaculate again. That's not a very sustainable or even necessarily healthy viewpoint, because you probably are going to ejaculate again, you know. It's very likely. Some of you by the end of the day even, who knows. But, so the whole thing here is, okay, what if, to at least find a healthy cycle that you're ejaculating. This is the whole thing, really. I've studied with a lot of different systems, a lot of different teachers, some of them in varying extremes. Some say you should never ever ejaculate again. If you do, you're a failure. You know, I don't really like that viewpoint. There's some Taoist teachers who say it's unhealthy to go more than 5 days without ejaculating. You know, my acupuncturist actually told me I shouldn't go more than 3 or 4 days. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, but so it's like, ultimately you have to find the cycle that's right for yourself.
Were you like, have you seen my videos? Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing here is balance. We don't want to obviously ejaculate recklessly, but we also don't want to be so obsessed about this idea of trying to hold something in that we don't enjoy life. We don't enjoy sex, sexual pleasure, that we're unable to connect with our partner because we're so afraid of releasing something into them. And so the better focus here, rather than trying to focus on stopping something, I need to stop ejaculating. That's wrong. The better intention, the better focus is redirection. How do I move this energy in a different direction? Because the moment we start thinking about stop, I need to stop that, hold it, that's what our energy does. It stops, it becomes stagnant. We get stuck, we become rigid, we get frustrated, irritated. We don't want our chi to become stagnant. And that's the number one risk of the male practices of retaining semen, starting to go longer periods without ejaculating, is getting into this stagnance, because there is a flow that orgasm creates, that ejaculation, it does create this flow of energy, but we don't want to have too much of an outward flow. So we want to really have this strong inward recycling flow. That's what the microcosmic orbit is all about, is redirecting that energy internally. And so that's what I recommend your primary focal point to be. It's not about how long can I go without ejaculating, it's how well can I redirect this energy internally? Really make the most of this energy, really store it, really digest it in the body. And then if you do ejaculate, it's like, okay, but you've at least captured a lot of that, you've captured that charge, you've integrated into your system. When you have to just, let's say, you know, get on Pornhub, jerk off for 5 minutes and ejaculate, it's a very different context than to have a beautiful lovemaking session with just having sex with a partner and ejaculating. That's a different context. But then you're using these techniques you're going to learn to spend an hour having deep connecting sex, drawing this energy through your channels, storing it in your body, exchanging it with them. You're just this powerful flow of sexual energy. You're having these full body orgasms, and then you ejaculate. You don't lose much. So this I think is one of the most important things to understand as well, that not every ejaculation is equal. And again, not saying that you should start ejaculating every day because of this, but just overall, the better emphasis is building the skill of really making the most of this energy, keeping it flowing, keeping it moving, rather than just either recklessly releasing it or having this kind of lack mindset of like, I need, this is mine, I need to hold it right here. Because again, for a lot of guys, it just gets stuck in the balls. They get angry and overly sexual obsession. There's people who do these practices and they become kind of like sex addicts because they get all this power from this sexual energy. And this is another thing, I don't recommend making your practice, the foundation of your practice, sexual energy. It should be kind of an additional thing. The foundation is everything else we've been doing. The clearing of the energy system, cultivating the energy of nature, just our regular chi, because this develops this internal source of energy. That's what's really filling you up. And then the sexual energies, it's like it's an extra bonus, right? But again, the risk here is that you get good at these sexual practices and kind of drawing the energy from your partner. It can turn into sexual vampirism, where you're relying on sex. You become overly horny because you're kind of strengthening that lower center drive. So I've seen this a lot in the Tantra community, where there's these, these Tantra gurus, and they basically become sexual predators. They manipulate women. They say, oh, I'm this, God, and I'm going to bless you with my healing sex. And yeah, I don't want you guys to go down that slope, because you will develop tremendous power using these practices. And it's important that you use it with respect, with love and harmony.